Hello everybody, welcome to the Heady, Vermont live stream, coming at you a little delayed here. Sorry about the little late start. Not sure if you guys got a chance to hear the intro song, but we are going to get a chance to play that. So I want to start by thanking Honey Twist. They're a local Chittenden County band. Thank you very much to Nate, Meg, and Mark, as well as your fourth member, who I haven't met in person yet. But theme song came out awesome. We'll play that in some of the video. Thank you to Jam Creative for hosting us here in the studios. And as always, the wizard behind the boards, Sean Simonetti, making this all look so smooth. You can check him out on Facebook. You can hire him if you want to do live stream events that look this good. Look probably way better if you have somebody other than me standing out there as well. Sean's available. So thank you to Sean. Thank you to Jam, Monica, and Judd. We are happy to be here. Tonight we are going to be talking about hemp in Vermont. We're going to do a 2018 season preview. Now, I want to throw out a disclaimer. Despite what you may have heard on the news, I am not in fact a hemp farmer. I have a hemp permit. All right, so a permit holder does not a farmer make. I want to start by throwing that out there because I know too many farmers who are way tougher than me, been doing it way longer, know way more about it, and I could not in any kind of good conscience call myself a farmer. So check in like 30 or 40 years and maybe we'll see. But I want to throw that out there because we are going to talk about hemp tonight, but we're going to start out by talking about some upcoming events. And you guys will see that we now have on-screen graphics, so you can actually take a look at the whole list of what we're going to talk about tonight, in case you didn't see it. We've actually got a whole lineup, so you can sort of keep along and tune in as you want. But we want to start with upcoming events. April is a huge month in the cannabis community. The 420 week is always packed with activities, and we have got a full lineup. So I'm going to run through them. These are all online at headyvermont.com/events. We're going to get the week started Wednesday, 4/18, at the Monkey House. We are doing cannabis trivia. We are calling it our trivia night on weed. Thank you to Sam Segalis-Shaw for making us an awesome graphic. We are going to do this at the Monkey House Wednesday, 4/18, cannabis-themed trivia. We're going to ask a question tonight. We will do a trivia again, so we'll give you a little bit of a teaser. That's going to be Wednesday night. Thursday, the 19th, we are going to be down in Montpelier. We are doing green drinks with Skinny Pancake. Our thank you to Skinny Pancake. This is the third year in a row that we've gotten a chance to work with them on cannabis-themed events, promoting the local cannabis community. So big thank you to them. We'll be at Green Drinks in Montpelier, so if you are in Washington County, if you're one of the people who will point out on the map later on, you want to come to Montpelier and catch up with Heady Vermont and the rest of the local community, love to talk to you there. Friday, 4/20. I don't know if you guys have seen on the Facebook page, it's been going nuts. We're doing a ticket giveaway because on 4/20, we are hosting a screening of Super Troopers 2. This is going down at the Roxy here in Burlington at Merrill's. We've got swag bags. We're going to have a table out there. We're going to hang out afterwards. It's going to be a great time. So Friday, 4/20. I think we've still got some tickets on sale. We have been rushing to sort of plan because it's getting bigger and bigger, and we are very excited for that event. Saturday, April 21st. There's a lot going on, so I don't want to skip anything, and I'm not willingly neglecting all the other great events that are going on. I'm just going to tell you about the ones that we're putting on. So we have others that are listed on the website. You can check them out. There's a lot of cool stuff happening in the cannabis community around the weekend of 4/20. But I want to tell you guys what we're doing, what we're supporting, and hope that you join us. So on Saturday, the 21st, we are going to be doing a Vermont Hemp Farm Brunch. This is going to be first of its kind event. There have been hemp food events for a long time. Shout out to Eat More Hemp. Shout out to Victory Hemp Foods. So we're kind of going to take our spin on it, do something with Skinny Pancake. We're going to do a Vermont Hemp Farm Brunch. So we're going to have maple syrup, we're going to have honey, we're going to have pork, we may have some lamb, we're going to have hemp hearts. It's going to be an awesome event. And we're going to have Beg, Steal, or Borrow playing some bluegrass. Beg, Steal, or Borrow is a Jerry Garcia band tribute. They're from the Northeast Kingdom, and I think it's one of their last few performances. So we're pumped to see them down there at Saturday the 21st. After that, I want to give a shout out to Hickory. They're doing a glass drop. Hickory Glass is doing an event at the Burn Gallery on Saturday the 21st, doing a glass drop. His pieces are very highly sought after. That's going to be a very cool glass event, so we want to show some love to the glass community. Encourage you to check that out around midday. If you want to buy, you're going to have to get in line because it is going to be a mob scene in a great way. So shout out to the glass guys. And then the Saturday night, April 21st, we are having our Heady Jam. So if you're a Heady member, if you're a business out there in the cannabis community, stay tuned. You'll be hearing about this. If not, check out the membership. We have this stuff online, and learn how you can join the club. We're going to throw down that Saturday night. Shout out to our friends at Green Empire Brewing, Evan and Dave. Appreciate you guys. Always in the mix with Heady Vermont events. Chill session. It's going to be a big week for Vermont Hemp beer as well. So that's what's happening in April. Like I said, a lot of other cool events going on. Sunday the 22nd, we're going to hang out and we're going to do a volunteer activity. So celebrate Earth Day. We're going to give back. We're going to do some community service. We're going to encourage people to come out and meet with us and try to pick up a little bit and give back. So that's what's happening in April in the immediate future. End of the month, we're looking at a Women of Weed networking event that we've launched. That is a whole new series. I definitely encourage you to check that out. Shout out to our past collaborators at Women of Weed events, Elmore Mountain, who brought the documentary here and helped us think more about this, the Women Grow community from the last few years who have been involved. So we're going to do a Women of Weed networking event. We want to turn it into a series. Contact Kathy, contact Monica about that because that's going to be a regular thing and we're excited to do it. So those are the big events in April. In May, we have the Vermont Cannabis and Hemp Convention. This is the first of its kind. We are working with NECANN, and they are bringing their huge show up here to Vermont for the first time. So we're getting some regional participation, collaboration, and the Vermont cannabis community is taking the next step up. So be there. The tickets are cheap. If you're a student or a veteran, we've got discounts for you. You can get a 2-day ticket for $30 right now. And I encourage you to get those in advance because it will be more expensive day of. All the vendor booths are full. We've got people on a waiting list. That's how many people are excited to get up here to Burlington, share what they're doing. And you guys who are out there, whether you are somebody who wants to start a business, get a job in the cannabis industry, invest, you want to grow hemp and CBD, maybe you just want to get and see some products and have a demo class for July 1st, starting your own home garden. We're going to have all of that and a ton more at the Vermont Cannabis Convention. So that is May 12th and 13th. It is at the Doubletree. Now the Doubletree used to be called the Sheridan. So if you're here in the Burlington area, you know it is the Sheridan. It's now called the Doubletree. Don't get confused. We'll be talking about that a lot. I know that a lot of folks who are watching right now probably can't really visualize what these conventions are like. A lot of people, when we talk about cannabis events in Vermont, still imagine UVM 420, smokeouts, and these conventions, the NECANN conventions, could not be farther from that. These are about people coming together, networking, and talking seriously about this subject, doing business together, and this is a New England first, Vermont first event. So we're very happy to bring it to you. And to give you guys a little bit more of a taste, we have that video ready to go? Okay. To give you guys a little bit more of a taste, and so you can hear our Heady Vermont theme song, when we were down in Boston last month, I put together a little video. It's pretty rough. It's just the time lapse, but you're going to see cannaplanters on there, and you're going to see kind of what this event looks like in Boston. The Burlington version is not going to be as big, but it's going to be as high, if not higher quality. So if you're wondering what NECANN looks like, here's a shot of what happened in Boston and kind of give you a taste of what you can expect up here in Burlington, May 12th and 13th. Heady Vermont. Heady Vermont. All right, awesome. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, a little rough time lapse, but I want to give you guys a sense of what these trade shows actually look like. There's something there for consumers, something there for gardeners, something there for business people, something there for investors, medical patients. We're going to be talking a lot about medical. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Dustin Sulak and Series and CBD for hosting him. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the Vermont News Update. But like I said, I hope that you guys got a chance to get a little bit better taste of what we're talking about. Our PSA, we care about the community, so we want to make people aware of important information. So this is our public service announcement because we want to give back and donate some of our Heady, Vermont airwaves. You guys may have seen this picture. You may have seen this story. Do we have the picture up right now of that Facebook post? The image?
I can pull it up.
Okay, yeah, if you can pull that up. In case you didn't see this, a Vermont doggy daycare business went super viral on Facebook this past week because apparently dogs have been getting THC poisoning at Mount Philo from eating human feces. This is a serious thing. So we actually made a few phone calls about this and looked into what happened because the first reaction was, this seems wild. Like, is this a real thing? And what this post had kind of alleged was that human feces had a high concentration of THC in it, and it was actually poisoning dogs who were eating the human feces. So this is our PSA to you. I'm not sure what the science is about how much THC you can transfer from a human eating edibles to human feces. I don't know. I'm not a hemp farmer. I'm not a scientist. But we do know this. Human feces, not good for dogs. Dogs eating human feces, bad for them. The science is pretty well set on that. There are a lot of things in human feces that dogs should not consume. So try not to let your dog eat human feces. If you are watching this and you are a human right now, do not shit outside in an area where dogs may be. Just like you cut your strips on your 6 packs of soda so the fish don't die, don't shit outside where there may be dogs because you are going to put these dogs at risk. The rest of it, we're going to leave that for further investigation. In general, don't give dogs marijuana edibles. That's a really bad idea for a lot of reasons. Don't hotbox animals. Don't blow smoke in their face. I don't think we need to really, mention these things. Don't go on this Facebook page and give these people a hard time. I had a chance to talk with the business owners, and this person's dog went to multiple vets, and the vet said that the dog got sick because it had THC poisoning. They ran blood tests, and the dogs had THC poisoning. Whether it came from eating human, crap or something else, we can't say. But again, this was something that was in the news. It was on Reddit, and it has been going semi-viral. So we would be neglecting our responsibility to you if we did not share that PSA. If you have a dog, do not let your dog eat human feces. If you are a human, do not shit outside where dogs may eat your feces, or at least pick up after yourself. This has been your Heady, Vermont PSA for the live stream tonight. So, keeping with some of the fun stuff before we get back to news and before we go over to the hemp board, we are going to do trivia. Wednesday, April 18th, we have got trivia. Do you have the trivia question we can drop in there? All right, so we've got a few different categories. You can check out the event page. Shout out to Green Empire Brewing, who are going to be there. Shout out to them. Humble Roots Horticulture, who are also sponsoring this event, and the Monkey House, who are hosting us, and hopefully all of you. Come on down Wednesday the 18th. Wednesday the 18th. So, our trivia tonight, to get you warmed up, this is kind of in keeping with our theme. This is one of the questions we asked last time. Question: how much does it presently cost to purchase a hemp cultivation permit in Vermont? How many US dollars does it cost right now on April 9th, 2018 to purchase a hemp cultivation permit in the state of Vermont? As somebody who's not a hemp farmer but a hemp permit owner, I know the answer to this question And I know at least 145 other people who know the answer to this question. What is the answer? If you want to go ahead and drop it in here, go ahead. Feel free to toss it in the comments. Anybody who wants to drop it in. I think I see David Hull dropping it in there first with 25. David, thank you very much. Congratulations, you are the winner. We've got a Heady Vermont pin for you tonight. So if you don't already have one, we've got a Heady Vermont pin. Congratulations. Jesse Lynn and Elizabeth also got the right answer. $25 at the Agency of Agriculture website for a Vermont hemp cultivation permit. So we'll talk about Vermont hemp in a minute. A little national news to catch you up in case you have not been following. I always recommend Ganjapreneur. That's where I get a lot of my national news from. Shout out to TG Brandfault. They do a lot of great Vermont coverage. So a couple stories I saw in Ganjapreneur that I wanted to pass along. Starting internationally, Canada is saying they're not going to allow celebrities to endorse cannabis companies. Trailer Park Boys already have a deal with a cannabis company. I don't know how that's going to affect them, but it's kind of a funny difference from how things are here in the States, where we have got all the celebrities taking part in cannabis companies, and rightly so. You know, if you got the money and the social capital, why the hell not? In Canada, they're saying no celebrities. They really do not want to advertise, as they say, lifestyle consumption. So that was, I think, an interesting article starting internationally. Big news, obviously, was the hemp legalization bill being introduced in the Senate. That happened like 2 weeks ago, but Channel 3 covered this, WCAX. I was obviously on there. Carrie from the Agency of Agriculture was on there. And there's been a lot of coverage about what's happening because of that national change. I don't think it's a huge surprise. Kentucky has got a ton of stuff happening with hemp, and actually just bought into a Vermont hemp company, and will have a presence here, Victory Hemp, Kentucky company, coming here to Vermont as well, which is great news for everybody. But this could be a huge deal at the federal level. If hemp is descheduled and removed from the Controlled Substances Act, they would also eliminate the need for pilot programs. So people would apply directly through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. There's more information about this on Ganjapreneur. You can check that out. That was a great news, obviously. Ties in with our hemp theme tonight. We don't know what's going to change, how this legislation might or might not move. We'll be paying attention. Encourage you to check that out. Also, Marijuana Moment, another great national news resource. Tom Angel, he does a lot of great reporting, especially on national politics. So one of the Marijuana Moment stories that I saw, the Marijuana Policy Project. Familiar if you've been following cannabis reform. They are a huge national presence. They have been very involved in legalization efforts in a lot of states, including here in Vermont. They're looking for a new national leader to find their next executive director. So if you're someone that wants to lead one of the nation's, if not the nation's largest cannabis reform group, Marijuana Policy Project is hiring. So wanted to share that out there. We always want to put the job opportunities out. And we will see how that organization may or may not change in the future with some new leadership. All right. Next, a little bit of Vermont news, and we're trying to whip through this because I want to get to the hemp map. That's the really fun stuff. Check out the stash if you have not already. The Heady Vermont stash, that is where you get all of the news in one place. We put all the stories together. We send that out to you once a week. We also do the weekly roll-up, but the stash is where you find out about the events, what's going on, all of this fun stuff in the same place. So, as you guys who received the stash know, Dr. Sulak was recently here in Burlington, gave a presentation on cannabis and opioids. We heard great things. We have a write-up on it on headyvermont.com that TG Brandfault reported. The live stream is also on, I believe, the CVD or the series Facebook page. You can find it on Facebook if you want to watch the entire thing. I can't vouch for the quality. Not everybody's got Mr. Always Ready, Sean Simonetti, over here behind the mic. But you can check that out, watch the whole thing. We heard it was great. The big news, I don't know how you can see our model behind us, and we have yet to name her, but Phylos Bioscience. company that we want to give a big fat shout out and thank you to. They are going to be gold sponsors at the July 1st event. Stay tuned. We are going to do a lot more news about that event. Doing the first of its kind, there's a lot that goes into it, so we're excited. We've had some great conversations lately and a lot more fun ones coming up. And some really like shitty ones coming up probably as well. So stay tuned. That is going to be going on. We're really happy to have Phylos Bioscience on board. You want to know more about what they do, go to headyvermont.com, reach out to Amy. She's awesome to work with here representing the Northeast, and you're going to be hearing a lot more about them in the future. So check that out. Victory Hemp, that's a story that 7 Days covered in great detail. It's an excellent write-up, and it's about Victory Hemp, a Kentucky company that is coming up here to establish a presence in Vermont. They are going to be, I believe that they bought into Nataka White's company, and I know that they've got some great local connections, and they are not really focusing on CBD. If you take a look at the article on 7 Days, I know it's in their Cannabeat, it's on Facebook, we'll share it later on in the week as well, but interesting news about Victory Hemp, a company coming here to Vermont, in part because of our trivia question and the level of regulation that we do or do not have in Vermont. I think we're going to start attracting more of these national companies who want to come establish relationships in Vermont. So stay tuned for that. Other medical news that people may or may not have seen, we saw this in the dispensary dish. CVD, the Burlington dispensary, they are getting ready to open their Middlebury location. In case you guys forgot, all the dispensaries are going to have the ability to open up a satellite location, and CVD is going to have one in Middlebury. So I'm not sure whether it's technically their Brattleboro satellite or their Burlington satellite, but they have a location in Middlebury that will be coming online in the near future. So we'll probably share that, talk about more of that in the near future, but that is coming up as well. So going to give you guys a second, mention VT Can. I want to show you the graphic, and you know what, let's just play that video again. Let's drop it in there in case you guys missed it, just so you can hear that awesome theme song by Honey Twist again. This is Nican in Boston. This will give you a little taste of what you're in for here in Vermont. We'll show you the video, we'll throw the graphic up, and then we'll talk about hemp. All right, so welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, a lot more fun to come, May 12th and 13th. This is my Vermont Homegrown shirt. I want to give a shout out to Vermont Homegrown, the group on Facebook, a lot of advocates there. Thank you to Fran, who's always sharing great news and really staying on top of the policy. This shirt was actually done by somebody else in Vermont, by Rolling Flower, but I know they have great respect for Vermont Homegrown, as do I, so I wanted to wear the shirt to represent a little bit. But you guys may have seen this on Instagram. We put up a story, and actually you can still see it on the highlights. And everybody who's watching on Instagram can't really see me on camera right now, but that's okay. What I did was, first and foremost, the Vermont Hemp Registry. So thanks in part to efforts of a lot of people over a long period of time, Vermont has great hemp laws. It's overseen by the Agency of Agriculture. A permit is only $25, and there is presently still not a lot of regulation. There will be more coming online, and we'll talk about that. But right now, the Vermont Hemp Registry includes 145 permits. Now, maybe unbeknownst to a lot of these people, I've spoken to quite a few, and we've gotten quite a bit of feedback since we started talking about this map. The hemp registry is public. So if you are registered as a hemp permit holder, as I am, the address that you registered is public information. Now, we're not going to publish this information. Frankly, I don't really agree with that policy, and maybe we can talk with some of our fellow, maybe I can talk with some of my fellow hemp farmers and talk about proposing legislation that would make that private. I think it's a public safety risk, so we do not want to publish everybody's addresses, and we're not going to publish everybody's names, and we're not going to publish the links to find this information. But everybody who has a permit got an email from the Agency of Agriculture last week, and among other things, it notified everybody that your information is public, and here it is. So what I did is I looked at this list, which includes my name, shout out to CB Delicious, and I took a map of the state of Vermont. I'm kind of a visual guy, and I thought this would be a cool way to kind of represent the data here. And so the pins that I put on are, the heads are yellow. It's really not a great visual. I know that you can't see it, but this way you got to come to Heady Vermont events. I promise you, I will have this map at the next event, so you can come look for yourself. So what I did is I had a friend, Holmes, sat down and he read off each town in order. What I did is I just went to the town center and I put a little mark on it. So this doesn't represent the actual addresses. You know, the pin for Rochester is right here. Rochester, that farm could be anywhere in here. So this is not anybody's precise location. We're not ever going to publish that. And frankly, it shouldn't be public anyways. But what this does provide is not only a visual breakdown of all of the hemp farms and where they are dispersed, but I took it a step further and did a county by county tally. So if you haven't seen this yet, and whether you're somebody who is a hemp cultivator, you want to see who else is out there, or you're somebody paying attention nationally, you're thinking about where to invest, where to get a hemp farm, who else is doing this around me, I want to go through this and give you guys a quick county by county breakdown. There are 14 counties in Vermont, 14. So it's not going to take too long, I promise. But starting here in southern Vermont, we've got Bennington County, which presently has 3. That really surprised me. 1 in Bennington, 2 in North Bennington, nothing up here until you get to Paulet over here on Route 30. So only 3 in Bennington County. Not a lot considering the kind of farmland and space that's down there in the population base. Expect that to grow in the near future. Windham County, there are 8 presently. They are, you can see right here in Brattleboro, but we've also got some up here and kind of go along the Connecticut River Valley, as one would maybe expect. Traditionally, hemp, hops, all grow well in this part of the state, and that's where a lot of hops was grown traditionally, as well as up here in Windsor County. Windsor County, we've got 13, so slightly more. You know, they're kind of clustered here around Windsor, up here in White River Junction, and then here, South Royalton, you've got a nice little cluster around the Vermont Law School. Rutland County, again, considering how big Rutland County is, the kind of farmland that's there and that's available, and the demand that Rutland County really needs people to come in, start businesses, move, start families. There are only 5 registered hemp farms in all of Rutland County right now. We map those out, again, Paulet, Fairhaven, you know, Cuttingsville down over here, and then up along Route 7 and, you know, up here towards Brandon. But again, a lot of space over here, especially in this part over by Castleton, Poultney area. So again, expect this to probably grow in the coming years. The fact that Bennington and Rutland County only have 8 registered hemp farms out of 146, I think is very low, considering what else is out here. As we move north in the state, staying over here on the west side, Addison County, probably some of the prime, you know, best farmland in the state of Vermont. There are 14 registered hemp farms. You have got a cluster here around Middlebury, around Bristol, up here near Starksboro. Again, when you guys see this in person, you can sort of, but it's kind of predictable. And these are just towns, right? So these are not the exact locations. Moving over to the east side of the state, Orange County, similar number, 12. So Orange 12, Windsor 13, Addison 14, all pretty similar. Orange County, big cluster over here by Randolph Center. And then you've got over here in Fairleigh, you know, a little bit of space up here that's still not really being used. But good cluster in Orange County. Washington County in the center of the state, 16. So 16 permits in Washington County. That's quite a bit. Even more surprising, 4 of them are right there in Barry. So there are 4 permits in Barry alone, which, again, for towns that are looking for an economic boost, people starting hemp farms and hemp companies, I think, is probably good news. Over here in Chittenden County, this is Vermont's largest county, so unsurprisingly, it is number 1. There are 22 permit holders in Chittenden County. Now, we don't know how big any of these farms are. That is not public information, the amount of acreage. We know how much total acreage for the entire state there is, but we don't know how big each of these is. So in Chittenden County, there are 22 registered hemp permits. 2 of those are in Winooski. Okay, I know how big my backyard is and how big my hemp permit is going to be for my hemp farm, our hemp farm, I should say, in Winooski. Pretty small. So probably a fair amount of backyard garden scale stuff here in Chittenden County, but again, a lot of them, 22, and all over the county, except for up north in Milton, as you could probably predict. Up here in the islands, 3 permits presently. That one up in Alburg, that's the UVM Research Farm. So really, 2 in South Hero, nothing in Grand Isle, nothing in North Hero, nothing in Isle La Motte presently. That could change in the future. And then working our way up and around, Franklin County, there are presently 6, mostly clustered around St. Albans, as you can see. Not a ton over here, nothing really in the Enosburg area. That's something that could change. Enosburg, Richford, you could definitely grow hemp that far north. Our friends over here in Orleans County have proved that. Before we jump over there, down here in Lamoille County, we've got a big cluster, and you can kind of tell this goes across county lines, but there's a big cluster here. And so you have 10 permits in Lamoille County presently. A bunch of them are clustered right here around Morrisville. Mo Vegas, baby. Not a huge surprise if you know Vermont that there would be a good concentration there, but Morrisville, over here in Jeff, 10 in Lamoille County. There is one in Stowe as well, so Stowe is on the board. Over here in Orleans County, this is number 2. Shout out to the Northeast Kingdom. Congratulations. Number 2 county in the state of Vermont for number of hemp permits is the Northeast Kingdom in Orleans County. So, big cluster here by Glover and West Glover area. You've got our friends at Creek Valley up there in Irisburg. You've got folks up here in North Troy, all the way over here in Holland. So the Northeast Kingdom, people are getting it. I want to give a shout out to Cam and Karen Devereaux. They were featured in the Chronicle. If you're up in the Northeast Kingdom, pick up a copy of that. Great story, great quotes, a lot of experience sharing, you know, what they've been doing up there in the kingdom and how they've been growing. So Northeast Kingdom, strong showing. Essex County, there's only 1. All right, Essex County is the least populated. The only one is all the way down here in Concord. So there is really nothing going on up there. Nothing in Island Pond, unfortunately. Maybe that'll change soon. And then Caledonia County, there are 11. So again, Orleans, you put the Northeast Kingdom, there are almost 30 permits up there, which is a large chunk of the state, especially when you consider the population and how few people live up in Orleans, Caledonia, and Essex County. So again, Caledonia County, we've got 11 clustered here around Linden and over again in the Greensboro area. So you kind of see some pockets. Honestly, they're I think maybe as much cultural as far as the pockets as they are agricultural necessarily. You know, you've got Sterling College up here, so Greensboro, Craftsbury, you know, Morrisville over here, closer to this part of the state, and Johnson up there to West Glover. You know, just like, for lack of a better word, a lot of really heady people up there, and progressive, agricultural-minded people. You've got the Center for an Agricultural Economy, you've got High Mowing Seeds and that whole community, so Not a huge surprise where you see some of these clusters, but overall, I thought it was interesting to break it down. And me being a visual person, I didn't want to put these on the internet. I don't want to make a map and have everybody's address out there. People are probably already doing that, not going to be us. But I did want to give a visual. So next time you're here at Jam Creative, or the next Heady Vermont that you attend, we will have this map. You can check it out for yourself. It's public information. So again, the counties: number 1, Chittenden County. Last place, Essex County. They don't count because they're so small. So last place, Bennington County. I'm sorry. We have a lot of love for you, Southern Vermont. My whole family's from Bennington County. 6 generations of Burton Academy. But really surprisingly low showing for Bennington County right now. So there are a few other permits that people have out-of-state addresses. I don't know how you can do that, but West Greenwich, Connecticut, Westfield, New Jersey, Whitehall, New York, and Montreal, Quebec. Those are a few of the other addresses. So breaking this down, showing you what's going on here, talk about a few of the trends. Processing, there are a lot of processing companies that are coming online. This is one thing when you look at the kind of hemp industry, and especially when I'm talking right now hemp, I'm talking CBD. So let me be specific. When we're talking CBD, there are all these different components. There's the cultivation, there's the harvesting, there's the processing, there is making actual products, and then there are selling and distributing those products. And then there's all the advertising and marketing. Come talk to us about that. So a lot of cultivation. There are some people who have been producing products who have already figured out processing, but I think there's kind of been a bottleneck. So we know that there are other processing companies that are coming online. Mansfield Provisions, they have come online. They are already working. They sponsored CBD. Northeast Processing, coming online in Brattleboro. We follow their updates on Facebook. Congratulations to Carl. He's been working hard on this. And they are going to be doing some work. Korea Group, they dropped in on the Facebook and commented. Not sure if they're online yet, but they've got a slick website. There are a lot of other people, some of whom we know about, some of whom that we do not. None other of whom I'll share right now. But there are a lot of people coming and investing in equipment, machinery that is basically going to process more CBD bud into oil. It might be into isolate, it might be into full spectrum, it might be into crude, or it might be into CO2 oil. All of these things are going to happen. And there are also a lot of people messing around with water-soluble nano-emulsion technology. So again, watch for a lot more processing coming online. I shouted these companies out because I'm most aware of them, and the other ones I'm not really going to talk about who are online, but that is going to be a huge trend. Victory Hemp Company, another trend. People diversifying. So fibers and fabrics, paper, all products that we hope to see more of in the near future. Hempcrete, my God. Shout out to Emily Payton, who's been on this for a long time. Bob Escher, who built Denver's first permitted hempcrete structure. Hempcrete would be phenomenal in Vermont. Kale, who's up here doing it in the Northeast Kingdom already. Hempcrete is something where we'd love to see it evolve. I see more people experimenting with that. I do not know, hemp permit holder, I'm not a farmer, how viable that's going to be long-term in Vermont with the scale and people making their own hempcrete here, or if through recycling, that's something that's going to be viable, taking your CBD stalks, turning it into hempcrete. But hempcrete, fibers, paper, and food. I mentioned Victory because that was a big story that came out, and again, something that makes sense in the context of Vermont agricultural products and is hemp but is not CBD primarily. So you guys want to see more of that, more of those diverse products. The Vermont Hemp Farm Brunch, Saturday, April 21st at the Skinny Pancake. We're going to be there. We're going to have a lot of these farms that I talked about represented, including Victory. So new developments, really talked about that as far as the processing. I think that's really the biggest new development. And politics. What is going to happen in the rest of 2018 and what's going to happen afterwards? So there are a few issues on the table, not even necessarily bills, but issues on the table, one of which is testing. Presently, There's not a testing requirement in Vermont. However, the Agency of Agriculture is working to create a standard, to create their own lab, and to create a lab certification process. So expect an independent testing protocol, expect independent labs to be licensed by the state, and expect the Agency of Agriculture to be doing testing of hemp products. Now, how that testing is going to work, whether it will be buds, whether it will be the final product, whether it will be all of the above, stay tuned. We will keep you posted as that evolves. So that's something, it's presently in a bill S-216, having the Agency of Agriculture take control of all cannabis testing. That could happen in a variety of ways. That's probably the most significant thing on the table right now. There is discussion about making Vermont's hemp program federally compliant. I think that would essentially require research relationships, but there's a lot of discussion on that. And also people talking about creating a Vermont hemp statute in which we would have a state limit of 1%. This is something I think makes a lot of sense, but it makes us less federally compliant, not more. So stay tuned. That's another issue that is always sort of swirling around, and we are very fortunate that policymakers do understand hemp. State Senator John Rogers, a registered hemp farmer himself, he is somebody who is paying close attention and has been a great advocate because he understands what the hemp industry is going through. So we are staying on top of this. We'll probably go down to Montpelier again this week and check in, see how things are coming along. Processing licenses, don't really see that in the immediate future. If that's something that comes with adult use, maybe people will get grandfathered in. It's something that I get asked about quite a bit, and something that, you know, we're doing a little bit more research. I'm doing more research. Probably be shared privately as well as publicly as things evolve. So stay tuned. We always keep you up to date on what's happening in Montpelier. And I think that is the main, you know, I had a lot of conversations with people, other sort of hemp conversations and discussions that we have with people. What is the hemp market going to do? You know, a lot of people have, I think, a good idea and an informed opinion of what might happen as far as what is the price of CBD going to be. You now have gone from 29 hemp farms in 2016 to 92 hemp farms in 2017 to 145 in 2018. So there's a lot more Vermont hemp supply that's coming along. There's a lot more regional, local, national demand for CBD. There are also a lot more big states out west growing a lot more CBD, processing it for way cheaper, and undercutting what we're going to do here in Vermont for scale. So I think, like all Vermont agriculture, value added, people who have their own products, you know, that they can sell themselves. If you not only have, if you're treating this as a commodity, you are going to be subject to commodity market forces, right? So that's wisdom that's been passed along to me. I'm not going to sit here and try to predict what the per milligram price is going to do, how it's going to go up and down, but I think that people are going to see fluctuations. Whether that starts right now, takes another year, we'll see. But there's a lot of activity, and this state that's over here, New York, they are making big moves in hemp and CBD. Big scale, big money, big markets. So expect a lot more CBD to turn up in the region, and expect to see more Vermont products getting out there. Green Mountain CBD, follow them on Reddit if you want to see what they're up to. They said they're putting in 50,000 plants right up here in the Northeast Kingdom this summer. So we'll see how things fluctuate. A lot of smart people out there, a lot of people with money, a lot of national companies, and a lot of people who own land in Vermont and want to get involved themselves. So caveat emptor. That's all I'll say for now. I'm going to go check in and see if we have any questions, and then I think we're probably going to call it for tonight. Had a great time talking about hemp. Always open to talking about it more. We're going to probably do some more dedicated hemp coverage in the near future, talking about CBD, but not just CBD, okay? It's not just CBD. There are 25,000 uses for hemp. In Vermont, we are just barely scratching the surface. So exciting things happening there. I'm going to pop in. If you have a question, now would be the time to ask it. I'll answer it from the computer, not from the map, and then we'll probably sign out and call it a night. Okay. So, let's see if we have some questions that people have dropped in here. I'm going to hop on and see if I can go back and look through the entire comments. And we can see what we have. Newfane representing, all right. We are lame in southwestern Vermont. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you guys are so low in Bennington County, but hopefully that changes. Let's see, some other questions. Eric says he's got his tickets for HempFest. He's got his tickets for NECAN already, VTCAN, July 1st. All right, if you've got any questions about hemp, drop them in here. Big thank you to everybody for tuning in. Give you guys last call for questions about the map, about the hemp preview that we have, about upcoming events. Feel free to drop them in. In the meantime, a big thank you again to Honey Twist, representing making our Heady, Vermont theme song. We are so excited to share this. It is infectious, it is catchy, it's funky, it is everything that we were hoping for and more. So thank you again to Honey Twist for sharing some of your art with us. Very much appreciate that. Thank you to Jam Creative for hosting us here in the beautiful studios. We're going to bring back the studio audience. We've got the next few weeks already lined up, so stay tuned. We're going to plan ahead. You'll be able to ask questions much farther in advance. And I think we're probably going to bring back our live studio audience at some point here because that was a lot of fun. So thank you guys for joining us last week. Thank you for tuning in here. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. Otherwise, we will... we had a question about HempFest in Brattleboro. If you are not aware yet, we are doing a CBD hemp farmers market in Brattleboro. We've done this up in Burlington before, and we are excited to bring it to Brattleboro. It is going to be on Sunday, June 17th. That is Father's Day, I have been informed. That is going to be a day-long event. I'm pulling up the link for you here so I can drop it right in there. Free for the public to attend. So just like a farmer's market, you can go, you can shop, you can talk to hemp farmers. We'll have some demonstrations and some programming. We're going to have some education as well. So that is going to be Sunday, June 17th. Save the date in Brattleboro. It's going to be at the River Garden. River Garden. So check it out. Free to attend. I think we have a few more booth spaces left, but we've got a great response from Southern Vermont. I want to thank Scott at the Vermont Hempicurian for being our title sponsor. Cannot wait to check out the new digs in person, and we're happy to promote them. We're going to announce some other fun stuff that we'll tack onto that event, but save the date. Sunday, June 17th in Brattleboro. We are happy to be down in that part of the state. And, like I said, we really try to, just like that map, Brownington to Brattleboro, Bennington to Bradford, everywhere in between. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again next Monday night. Otherwise, stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the Stash, to the weekly roll-up. We got a lot more news coming up and a lot more fun events coming up. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next week.